Well, hey, you guys, it is a crazy world that we are living in right now. The coronavirus is on everyone's minds and everyone's conversations. It is everywhere. And so today's episode is all about the American dream. Now, we shot this before the coronavirus news and everything, was happening, the pandemic. And you'll see also that I was pregnant while we were filming this episode. But I still want to share this episode with you because no matter what, I still believe the American dream is true. I still believe it is alive, and I still believe that it can happen. So no matter what is happening in the news and in our world, I know, number one, we're going to get through this. And number two, you can still win with your money. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's a great one. So here it is. America promises us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But have you ever stopped to think about what that pursuit of happiness is actually costing you? All right, society tells you what the American dream is, but today we are going to redefine what that looks like for you and your family. I'll talk to a couple who thought that they had to buy a bunch of stuff to make them happy, but they kept coming up short. And they'll show the steps of what they took to make their dream a reality. And I'm also going to talk to author and pastor Max Lucado about finding lasting happiness, and he's fantastic. But first, let's talk about how the American dream has changed over the years. I mean, you guys, like what we consider necessities today, our parents considered luxuries in their day, or it may never have even existed. So let's take a look at a few different things that is a reality now for us versus 30 years ago. In the 80s, the average size of a new house was 1,600 square feet. Today, it's 2,600 square feet. In the early 90s, 99% of households didn't even have internet. But now we feel like we can't go anywhere without it, or our smartphones and all this other technology we can't live without. But it didn't used to be a necessity. We even think that we have to have a car that has a sunroof, automatic windows, heated seats, Bluetooth, like parking itself, all the things. But those are all luxuries. But unfortunately, we've turned them into necessities. And people keep going into more and more debt for these things. For example, in the last 15 years, consumer debt has almost doubled. And people are taking out 40% more on their homes because we are just trying to keep up with what society tells us that we deserve, like the standard of living that we should all have. But we already have more than what we think we have. I want you guys to check out this conversation I had with my dad, Dave Ramsey, on his show about this exact topic.
There's nothing wrong with having a nicer house. There's nothing wrong with having a nicer car. There's nothing wrong with going on a nicer vacation, having a nicer phone or a nicer boat, or all those things I listed off. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shaming anyone for having those. I am shaming a political agenda or an economic discussion on the macro that says you have a right to those things, right, and the current economic system has robbed you of your right to have these things that are middle class when they're legitimately not middle class.
Right.
The middle class has doubled, tripled, and quadrupled, while the income has stayed in terms of its consumption of these items, and while their income has stayed relatively stagnant instead of living within their means.
Yep, that's right.
So and those that live within their means are no longer in the middle class.
Because they're getting ahead.
Yeah, 93% of the millionaires that we found were first-generation rich.
Yep.
Did not become millionaires because of an inheritance, became millionaires because of their consumption patterns were within their means, allowing them to invest.
Which takes, to piggyback off of that, a really mature person to sit there in the moment and say, gosh, we want to be able to go on the nice vacation. We want that. We want this. You know what I mean? Like, we expect this. And to be able to say no to yourself, like I was going back to, it doesn't feel right. It feels wrong because it's like, it's not supposed to be like this. I'm supposed to be looking like everyone else. And when you don't.
I'm supposed to hit a button and the door opens on the side of my van instead of, God forbid, reaching up and grabbing the thing and opening it. I mean, or wave your foot under the bumper so that the back hatch comes up. Your sister's car, right?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I don't have that.
God forbid we have to reach over and touch the automobile. Unbelievable. You know, and all of that's okay. Your sister can afford that car. It's not a problem. But this thing that, like you say, it becomes normalized to where if I can't eat out every night at a restaurant, then it's unfair to me
Right.
I'm entitled to do that.
Yep.
And then the economic play or the political play on this, and people fall into this discussion without critical thinking skills, and they start saying, well, it's all of this debt comes from the fact that wages are stagnant. No, it doesn't. It comes from the fact that consumption is on an exponential curve when you graph it.
And so I think, too, realizing if you're one of these people to ask, or anyone really, to ask yourself that, okay, this is the expectation that the culture has set, but then the why, like what's the motivation behind getting all of these things? And then it falls into the trap of contentment of thinking, well, all this stuff is going to make me happy. Because, if I have the nice car, if I have this or that, my life's just going to be better. And the thing is when you can't afford it, you create more pain on the back end, not just financially, but emotionally. And we see those families that come in, and it's like, man, the mess that they've created to keep up, that has not been worth it. You
the
look 3 years later.
The car, the
it
phone,
doesn't fulfill you.
The clothes,
it's not
the purse, the shoes, the house that were going to make me happy.
And that's been told.
The paradox is over and over and over again, it has made you miserable.
Yep.
It's stressed you out. It's put strain on your marriage. It's stolen your future. And the actual opposite of what you thought was going to happen has happened.
Exactly.
That's really good insight.
Exactly.
That's a good point. That's powerful. And the comparison is not just we're such children that we have to keep up with the Joneses, but the comparison just normalizes it to where you say, gosh, I'm entitled.
That's it. This is the standard of living I should have because of my age, my season of life, where we're at. This is what it should be. And so whatever I have to do to get there. And so that's why, even just talking about the credit card, we did a two series episode part on credit cards specifically, just the credit card debt in America. And then this past episode is all about getting out. But it's so much, even just looking at the percentage of store credit cards that people sign up for, because again, in the vein of being normal and just thinking, oh, sure, why not?
A store credit card. The items that you can purchase with a store credit card, 0% fall under the heading of necessity. 100% fall under the heading of luxury. You need another pair of shoes. I mean, how many shoes? I'm a guy that doesn't even like shoes, and I've got shoes coming out my ear.
Speaking about shoes.
I know, but I got shoes coming out my ears, and doesn't even make sense. I don't even like shoes. And I've got to wear, I get another pair of shoes. That means I got to throw 2 pair away. I'm just not going to have a whole pie. And all this, it's just consumption.
It's just stuff.
It wasn't like I had holes in my shoes.
Right.
I didn't. It's just consumption. It's just straight up, if I get that, I'm going to be happy then.
Oh, and that is the lie. That's the deep why behind it.
That's a spiritual problem.
Yes, an emotional problem, and it's not fulfilled with the stuff. And that's the hard lesson that a lot of people have to learn.
Thanks for stopping in and joining in on the discussion.
Thanks for having me.
Rachel Cruze, #1 best-selling author, Ramsey personality, and happens to be my daughter. Proud of you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me on. Like I said, the one thing that has changed is our expectations. I was talking to a friend recently, and her husband are following the baby steps, and they're doing it all. They're out of debt, and they have their fully funded emergency fund. And they're actually, to the point that they're funding 15% of their income into retirement and saving up for kids' college and paying down their mortgage. But she was telling me, she was like, man, I kind of feel a little defeated because, I still feel like we just don't have a ton of money. I just feel like, we did all this sacrifice, but yet all this other stuff we're doing with our money, we're not able to go and take this huge, nice vacation, or we're not able to do the things I really thought we were able to do because there just doesn't seem to be a lot of opportunity because our money is going to all these different places. And so I thought it was a really interesting perspective because as I was talking to her, I was telling her, you realize that you are making decisions today in your life with your money that are setting you up for the long term. That, in the present, you may not have that 15% in your pocket. It's going to retirement. But that means that you're going to have choices. Like the 55, 60-year-old version of you is going to love the 30-year-old version of you because you're making wise choices now. But what's so hard is society tells us, no, you should be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and just, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have the money. And it's so hard to break that cycle, you guys. It's so hard to say, you know what, I'm going to live a quote-unquote more responsible way with my money, and I'm gonna do things to set myself up well for the future. So When you get to that point, don't be discouraged. The American dream, it is alive and well. I'm telling you, it may not feel like that all the time, but you are setting yourself up for success. Now, obviously, comparison living, it is a struggle. It really is. You're seeing what everyone else has, but you have to realize the road to comparison will always dead end with debt. And debt makes people look a whole lot better than they actually are. So you may look around and feel like other people are winning and you're not winning as much as they are. But in reality, when you look at the stats, yeah, you are winning a whole lot more than they are. You're just not seeing their bank account. And so one thing that has helped me with comparison living is just learning contentment, looking at my own life and starting with gratitude. I mean, I started a gratitude list, I turned it into a journal, and this has been my lifeline. And so I actually made it all into this beautiful journal called the Contentment Journal because it is such a big deal. Spending 30 days in gratitude, 30 days in humility, and 30 days in contentment. This really is the thing that sets your heart up for this journey and to say, okay, I'm gonna lay this foundation emotionally where I am so that way I can make the sacrifices I need to, again, to win for the 55-year-old version of yourself. You guys can do this, you can. So for more information, click the link in the show notes to start reading for free. All right, coming up next is Jeremy and Julie, and they are debt-free completely, but there was a time in their life where they kept buying stuff to fill a void. So check out their story.
I constantly felt stressed and overwhelmed with my finances, pretty much holding my breath that my account wouldn't overdraft.
Living paycheck to paycheck was the norm. I was one catastrophe away from not being able to pay for something.
Before we met, we both were previously married and we had a lot of debt, lawyers' fees, credit cards, things like that left over from our previous marriages that were still lingering. And we knew that we needed to make changes in our future so that we wouldn't have the same circumstance happen again. So we wanted to kind of have a clean slate and wipe all that previous debt away so that we could come together and start building our future as opposed to paying for things in our past. After Financial Peace University, it was the first time that I really had a concept of how much debt I had.
It was eye-opening to see how badly we were spending and going into debt because we thought we were happy. To me, it was like we were self-medicating. Like, I need this to feel good right now in the moment, and now my closet's full of items I don't necessarily need or use.
I've spent thousands of dollars on clothes and hair products and makeup, and I'm like, I don't use any of those things, and all that is just wasted money.
After we paid off our debt and we began working baby step 3, we just felt more secure as a couple, more trust, our bond was stronger.
Freedom is the easiest word to explain it. We feel like we're working towards something that is going to build our future. It's indescribable.
All right, Julie and Jeremy, you guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
So fun. So you're in Nashville for something really fun. You just did your debt-free scream. So how was that?
Amazing.
Surreal, liberating.
So great. Okay, so you guys paid off $60,000 in, what was it, right over a year, right?
13 months, yeah.
13 months.
Oh my gosh, so awesome. Okay, so take me back before you started this journey, when you guys were living paycheck to paycheck, you're in debt, before Financial Peace University, before the Total Money Makeover book, all of that. What was life like?
I had zero financial awareness. I had no concept of how much I made and how much debt I had. And I was just completely oblivious to those things. And it always would cause stress because I had all my debt on auto pay. And I would just hope and pray every time I got a paycheck, I went to overdraft. That was my way of going through life.
Yes. What about you, Jeremy? What was it like for you?
I was in a rebellious stage because I felt I wanted to do what I wanted to do and spend how I wanted to spend, and I wasn't paying attention to the details. And I was just being normal and paycheck to paycheck, no emergency fund, relying on credit cards.
Yeah. So what was the debt? What did you spend money on when you were going into debt, and what was your motivation behind it?
Pretty normal. Mine was just eating out, going on trips, bebopping through life. Nothing we had credit cards, car payments, student loans. I mean, I thought I really thought it was normal.
Yeah, totally. And you were. I mean, to your credit,
yeah.
like that's normal.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys started the journey. What was the hardest step that you had to take to begin getting out of debt?
I just say no, simply. Sometimes you can't go out to dinner or go on that family trip or your friends call you last minute. Hey,
The last minute stuff is hard to say no to.
Yes, for sure.
In context, though, we were just saying no in the short term just so we can win in the long term. So just no for now, not no forever.
So was the no in the short term worth it?
Absolutely.
What'd you say?
Yes.
It's indescribable. To me, it doesn't make sense. Why doesn't everyone do this? It's so hard for me to get now, but before I was aware of this program and getting out of debt even existed, I was that person. So.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys, you would say were pretty normal, quote unquote, Americans, right? As before this journey and spending money on stuff, because I feel like society tells us that, you have to buy stuff to make you happy. And even marketing, advertisements, like all of that portray this image of, okay, this perfect life if you just buy what we're selling. So what's your outlook now on stuff and even those advertisements when you see it?
I think that as marketers, they have a job to do to get your attention with all this digital media. And then we have a job as consumers and adults and leaders of the families to kind of be aware and make the right decisions and not impulse buy, because that's what they're betting on is your impulsiveness. But through our debt-free journey, I just quit social media just to have altogether, just to have that focus, that singular focus of, because I knew that was a friction point for me. That's where they can get me. So let me just get off this and just kind of keep my eye on our goals.
Yeah, I love that because I'm like, they're so smart now. So even like the targeted ads and stuff on your social media, you're like, oh yeah, this is everything that I love. Yeah. This is everything I love and I want to buy right now. Yeah. And now I feel like when you get to the end of your life, it's never like, oh, I wish I had more money. Usually it's like, oh, I wish I had more time, right? To be with people that I love and to actually like prioritize your life, even just over stuff. And sadly, we are a culture that is like obsessed with stuff. And you guys are a redemptive part of that story.
Thank you.
Of saying, you know what, we're done and we're going to get out of debt. And you guys did it. You guys are amazing. Seriously, thanks for stopping by. I know you just did the big debt-free scream on the national show. We pulled you down here in the studio, but sharing your story, it helps so many people. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. All right, coming up next, I'm bringing on author Max Lucado, and he is going to give us some great tips on living a truly happy life. As a mom, every day I take precautions to give my family peace of mind. It's simple things like locking the front door, making sure the car seats are buckled in, and putting my phone away when I'm driving. But we don't always think about the bigger things, like what if something happened to you or your spouse? That's why you need term life insurance. It makes sure your family's taken care of no matter what happens. I trust Zander Insurance. They keep my family protected, and that gives me such peace of mind. They make things super simple and find the best options and prices. To learn more, call Zander today or go to Zander.com. Make sure your family has the term life insurance they need. Max Lucado, thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely.
You're
I'm honored.
One of my
Thank you.
favorite people, and I was telling you this before the interview, but even your kid's book, You're Special, is like, I tell everyone about it.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, this episode specifically, we're talking about the American dream.
Okay.
And so I'm curious from you, you talk a lot about happiness. That's what your new book's about. But do you think that happiness has changed over the past even just 30 years when you look at American culture?
I think the illusion of happiness has. I think that what we're dealing with now, that's one of the characteristics of our unique day and age, is this proliferation of advertisement, this subliminal messaging that comes at us from all angles. And 60 years ago, it was the television generation. 30 years ago, it was the internet generation. Today, it's the social media generation, plus the other two, right? And so the increased number of messages that come our way telling us we will be happy when has increased. Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out how do we explain just the despair in the culture today. 1 out of 3 Americans say they're happy. That's it. Only 1 out of 3. Depression is is drawing close to heart disease as the number 2, as the most prevalent illness in the world, in America. And then the increase in suicide is just the pandemic that we don't all want to talk about. And so trying to get our hands and heads around this is a very valid topic.
Yeah, so this whole message of happiness, it's been obviously on your heart. You wrote a book about it, but what have you found? Like when you've dug into just like the marketing side and the comparison side, what are you seeing in our culture today?
Well, you talk a lot about comparisons in your book. And number one, comparison is because of social media, it's a comparison on steroids. I mean, it's just gone wacko.
Yeah.
It's just gone wacko. But comparison always results in either superiority or inferiority, feelings of I'm better or I'm worse. Neither one of those is healthy.
Yeah.
And so learning to manage that comparison trap is a huge deal in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you dig through scripture specifically, what do you find it says about happiness?
Yeah,
Like what's the guide? What's the path?
Well, the counter intuitive message of Scripture is when Jesus said it's really better to give than receive. And so what I think he's saying there, among other things, is if you want to be happy, just give happiness to others, and you can be guaranteed. You can be guaranteed. I've double-dog dared people this for about 2 or 3 years. You could take a day, make it your day to make other people happy. Just do it. Just see what in the world happens. Put it to the test. See what happens. Set loose, go and serve people, encourage people, call people up for no other reason except to tell them they're great folks. Maybe forgive some people, just kind of honor people. And I've yet to have anybody say anything except, that was a pretty cool day. So that's wonderful, Rachel, because I can control that. I can't control the weather. I can't control so much of life, but I can control how I treat people. That's why I think that happiness levels can go up if we'll take that angle that Jesus gave us, and that's try to make other people happy.
Yeah, it's so good. And it is. It's like we talk about giving a lot money
You do.
on the show and getting to the point financially where you're not burdened by debt and that you're able to live with this open hand and give because that happiness
It's so fun.
comes out of that giving. Yes. So how do you think happiness and money relate? What do you see in that?
Well, I think generosity is huge.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. To be able to do something that maybe even is a bit spontaneous but extravagant for somebody that just knocks them off their feet, it is so much fun. It really is. And then just measured giving, to be able to tithe in your church or in an organization. It's a wonderful thing. I draw a lot of satisfaction out of being able to leave a good inheritance for my kids. I'm pro-money. I'm not pro-materialism, but I'm pro-money.
That's right. Yeah.
Because it's just a great tool with which to make people happy.
Yeah, amen. So your new book, How Happiness Happens, really, really excited to read. So dig into that a little bit. Like what caused you to write it? What's the message in it? What can people learn from it?
When I saw that statistic, Rachel, that said only 1 in 3 Americans are happy, that got me interested in happiness. But the materialism factor is really big because of the advertising factor. And that's fine. We got good ideas, we want to pitch them.
Right.
That's legitimate. We who hear the ideas need to be able to filter it correctly. So that's up to us.
Yes, so good. Oh, Max, thank you.
Thank you.
So much. You guys,
Thank you.
Pick up a copy of that book. Any book that he's written, there's tons of them, but you are just a master communicator. You bring God's word to life. And even you spoke to our entire company today, and I had some people just talk about, like, I'm just happier after hearing from Max. So I was like, his message definitely hit home.
I'm happy about
really a pleasure for you to,
Thank you,
to
Rachel.
sit here and be here. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, I hope you see how debt is full of broken promises and that you don't need debt to achieve the American dream. So what are your thoughts on the American dream? I'd love to hear what you think. Just let me know. All right, a big thanks to Jeremy and Julie for coming on and sharing their story, and to Max Lucado, who is just awesome and so wise. Now, if you've not checked out the podcast version of my show, make sure you do that and subscribe. It's so fun. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my Facebook page for more great money tips. Now, if you're looking for the Contentment Journal or anything that I mentioned in today's show, make sure to click the link in the show notes. And as always, make sure to take control of your money and create a life you love.